Reflecting on professional roles, the nature and purpose of professionalism is actually different for different teachers, and the way teachers reflect will be dependent on a particular preference for their idea of professionalism, a particular preference for the way they choose to interact with others in the work environment. And we can look at this diagrammatically. What we can see here is that there are two teachers perhaps working in a school. Teacher one we see as somebody who has a very high focus on the pastoral care of students, in contrast to the academic focus that they may have for teaching. And another teacher in the same school may have a different focus. Their focus is more towards the academic attainment of the students rather than a very strong focus on their pastoral care. So we can see that teachers can be located differently within the school, and what that actually shows us is that no teacher is the same as any other teacher. Indeed, each teacher will have a unique identity. And with this identity, it actually shows that there can be professionals working in a school environment with a very different approach to teaching and a very different focus for their attention in terms of reflection. For the teacher who is interested in looking after the students and the students' enjoyment and engagement with learning, reflection can be focused in this area rather than on academics. Whereas the teacher who may be focused on academic attainment will reflect closely on this and pay less attention to the students' engagement. So what we're always looking at in terms of teacher identity is this difference in terms of how teachers are seeing themselves within the school environment. And so what this tells us about the nature of professionalism is that the teachers within their particular environment need to be mindful of their idea of themselves as a professional, their identity, because too much of a focus in one particular area actually can mislead us into think we're performing well. What these teachers in this example could be doing and should be doing is looking to see how they can move their practice to different levels of attainment. The reflective practitioner who has a strong focus, a strong personal focus on the pastoral impact of their work, needs to look to increasing the academic focus, so they're high in both areas. And similarly, the teacher who has a strong academic focus needs to reflect more on the pastoral approach that they're taking with the students, so that they're moving towards ever increasingly high levels of reflection. And this leads to what we might consider as high levels of practice for the teacher and a high level of identity development. And for the reflective practitioner, this is a very key understanding. So the ability to be flexible becomes quite significant for the reflective practitioner. We need to become very self-aware of particular focuses that we may have in terms of our teaching, and we need to be seeing how we can move these focus to a place which we would consider to be professional, and that professionalism is that high degree of both pastoral and academic care. So what this tells us is that although we have preferences, we need to be very flexible about how we're working with students in the school and how we see our professionalism and our identity as teachers within the whole school environment, and how we can move this to very high levels in all axes that we're looking at. So the idea of of living out this professionalism in the school is where this takes us. We're looking how to shape our identity and how to help continually develop our identity within the classroom, within the school, as a professional. And this leads us to a place of good practice and excellence, but enables us to do it in a very unique and individual way. So we don't lose our uniqueness. We actually develop and grow that uniqueness through this movement towards excellence.